From its foundation towards the end of the 15th century, the monastery of La Cartuja has been converted into the cornerstone of the Jerezano thoroughbred horses. For 3 centuries, which coincided with the centuries of greatest splendor of the Kingdom of Spain, the Carthusian monks established a breeding stock which, through time, would be converted into one of the most celebrated and appreciated stocks in the world. The exemplary livestock management carried out in the surrounds of the splendid Renaissance building, situated in an exceptional geographical location in terms of climate and fertility, where the universally renowned Jerez wines are also grown, was interrupted at the beginning of the 19th century as a result of the War of Independence, and coincided with the years of splendor in Spain and as a consequence of its horses. The origins of the influence of the horse, and in particular the Andalusian horse, within the Spanish culture coincide with the flourishing of the first large civilization in the peninsula. The Carthaginians incorporated large numbers of horses into their armies, due to their strength and endurance. Later, the ancient Romans were capable of appreciating the bravery of the Andalusian horse, and used this breed to its full potential, both as a means of transportation in civilian life, as well as in the frequent violent conflicts, as a sign of distinction reserved for kings and emperors. Horses were also selected for the events in the Roman circus. The importance of horses, and even the equine culture which existed in the Iberian Peninsula at that time, can be clearly seen in the written testimonies which have been documented by some of the great classical writers, such as Homer, Xenophon, Virgil or Pliny. The invasion of the Germanic hordes did not have an influence on the characteristics of the Andalusian horse. This can be explained by the fact that these invaders made their entry into the Iberian Peninsula largely on foot, and the few specimens of horses which were brought into the peninsula did not mix in significant numbers with the autochthonous herds. Given that, in addition, Roman laws were upheld in defense of the Spanish specimens. The Arabs organized their armies to include a light cavalry, which was almost exclusively formed by Andalusian horses. This light cavalry was important in the Arab expansion in Spain. From their first contact with the breed, the invaders admired the virtues of the Andalusian horse, and their great triumph lay in conserving and strengthening the characteristics of the Spanish race itself. This led to the creation of several important breeding centers, and horses were even sent as gifts to Constantinople, Baghdad, and other major cities throughout the Islamic Empire. The importance that the Arabs gave to horses during their reign in Spain is reflected in the origin of the words caballero, gentleman, knight, or horseman, and caballerosidad, gentlemanliness, chivalry, originating in the Middle Ages to classify with honor the owners of these prized animals and their virtues respectively. The internal struggle of the Muslim rulers and the long years of reconquest decimated the horse population. The considerable increase in agriculture and farming activities from the end of the Reconquest, in addition to the low demand for the use of horses for purposes of war, saw horses being replaced by mules, which were much more practical for hard work. Horses had to be protected from undesirable crossbreeding through various government decrees, along with the intervention of religious orders, which protected horses within their monasteries, as was the case of the Carthusian monasteries.